The first time Sophia Rhodes spotted him, she knew this wasn't going to be an ordinary workday at Harrington's boutique. A tall man with broad shoulders and a perpetually furrowed brow stood in the middle of the jewelry section, looking as out of place as a wolf in a china shop. "Can I help you find something?" Sophia asked, approaching with the practiced smile she'd perfected over 3 years working at the high-end department store. He turned, and Sophia was momentarily caught off guard by intense hazel eyes that seemed to evaluate everything they saw. "I need a gift for my sister," he said, his deep voice hesitant. "Her 30th birthday is next week, and I'm completely lost." "I'd be happy to help," Sophia replied. "Do you have anything specific in mind?" "That's the problem," he admitted, running a hand through his dark hair. "I don't even know where to start." "Well, what is your sister like? Any hobbies or interests?" The man paused, looking almost embarrassed. "She loves art, literature, travels a lot. She's been talking about Italy recently." "I'm Sophia, by the way," she said, extending her hand. "Xavier Norton," he replied, his large hand engulfing hers in a firm handshake. "My friends call me Zav. Let's find something perfect for your sister, Zav," Sophia said, leading him toward a display case of finer jewelry. "What's your budget?" Xavier seemed to hesitate before answering. "The price isn't important. I just want something she'll love." Sophia nodded, though something about his casual dismissal of cost made her pause. Most customers at Harrington's had a specific limit in mind. Still, she'd encountered wealthy customers before the store catered to that clientele after all. "Tell me more about your sister," Sophia encouraged as they browsed. "What's her name?" "Amelia," Xavier replied, his expression softening. "She's my only sibling." "Brilliant woman, runs an art gallery downtown." Sophia stopped at a display of Venetian glass jewelry. "If she loves Italy, perhaps something like this." She pointed to a delicate necklace featuring a pendant of swirling blues and golds. "Each piece is handcrafted in Murano, Italy." "They're quite special." Xavier leaned closer to examine it, his shoulder brushing against hers. Sophia caught a hint of his cologne, something woodsy and expensive, and found herself taking an extra breath. "It's beautiful," he admitted, "but it doesn't seem quite her." His phone buzzed and he glanced at it with a frown. "Sorry, I need to take this." He stepped away, speaking in low, authoritative tones about something involving structural permits and construction deadlines. While he was occupied with his call, Sophia took the opportunity to really look at him. His suit was clearly tailored, the fabric high quality but not flashy. His watch was understated but elegant. Everything about him spoke of money but without ostentation. When Xavier returned, he looked apologetic. "Sorry about that, work never stops." "Construction business," Sophia guessed. A slight smile touched his lips. "Something like that." Now, where were we? For the next hour, Sophia showed Xavier various options: a leather-bound journal, a cashmere scarf, crystal paperweights, but nothing seemed right. She found herself enjoying his company more than she'd expected, impressed by the thoughtfulness he showed in considering each potential gift. "You know," Sophia said finally, "sometimes the most meaningful gifts aren't about the object itself, but the experience it represents." She led him to a small counter near the back of the store. "We have these antique compasses. Each one is unique, restored from the 19th century, for someone who loves travel." Xavier picked one up, studying the aged brass and intricate engravings. "This is perfect," he said softly. "Amelia's always talking about finding her direction, charting her own course." He looked up at Sophia with genuine appreciation. "How did you know?" Sophia felt her cheeks warm under his gaze. "Just a hunch. Would you like it engraved? We offer that service." "Yes," Xavier nodded. "Could you put to guide you on your next adventure?" "Love always, Zav." "Of course," Sophia said, writing down the inscription. "It will be ready tomorrow afternoon." As she processed the sale, trying not to react to the 5-figure price that didn't make Xavier blink, he seemed reluctant to leave. "I can't thank you enough for your help," he said. "Most people would have just pushed the most expensive item." "That's not really my style," Sophia replied with a smile. Xavier hesitated, then asked, "Would it be terribly forward of me to ask if you'd like to get coffee sometime?" "As a thank you for saving me from giving my sister another disappointing gift," Sophia felt her heart quicken. There was something about his direct gaze that made her feel like she was the only person in the room. "I'd like that," she heard herself say. "Great," Xavier smiled, suddenly looking younger, less serious. "How about tomorrow when I pick up the compass, say around 5? I get off at 4:30, Sophia confirmed. "Perfect, I'll see you then." After Xavier left, Sophia's coworker Melanie sidled up beside her. "Do you have any idea who that was?" "A customer who needed help finding a gift for his sister," Sophia replied, still smiling. Melanie stared at her incredulously. "That was Xavier Norton, the Xavier Norton? Should that mean something to me?" "He's only one of the most successful real estate developers in the city. His company, Norton Developments, just completed that massive eco-friendly skyrise downtown. The man is worth millions." Sophia felt her stomach flip. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. My boyfriend works in commercial real estate. Xavier Norton is legendary self-made millionaire before 30, transformed half the waterfront with sustainable development projects." Melanie gave her a nudge. "And he just asked you out." Sophia spent the rest of her shift in a daze. She'd been working at Harrington's to save for design school, living paycheck to paycheck in a tiny apartment with a roommate. The idea that someone like Xavier Norton had asked her for coffee seemed unreal. By closing time, she'd convinced herself it was just a polite gesture, nothing more. He probably did this all the time, asked sales assistants for coffee as a thank you, then never showed up. The next day, Sophia tried not to watch the clock as her shift neared its end. She'd put extra effort into her appearance, wearing her favorite navy blue dress and the pearl earrings her grandmother had given her. Still, as 4:30 approached with no sign of Xavier, she felt increasingly foolish. At 4:25, just as she'd resigned herself to disappointment, Xavier walked through the door. He'd traded yesterday's formal suit for dark jeans and a gray cashmere sweater that made his eyes look even more intense. "Sorry I'm a bit early," he said, approaching the counter where Sophia stood. "I was afraid you might think I'd forgotten." "The compass is ready," Sophia replied professionally, though her heart was racing. She retrieved the small box from the back room, opening it to show him the finished product. Xavier examined the compass, running his finger lightly over the engraved message. "It's perfect, thank you." He closed the box carefully. "Are you still up for coffee?" "I am," Sophia said, trying to sound casual as she gathered her things. They walked to a small cafe 2 blocks from Harrington's, their conversation flowing surprisingly easily. Xavier asked about her life, listening intently as she explained her dream of becoming an interior designer. "Why interior design?" he asked as they settled at a corner table with their drinks. "I've always been fascinated by how spaces affect people," Sophia explained, warming her hands on her mug. "The right environment can change how someone feels, how they interact, even how they think. I want to create spaces that make people's lives better." Xavier nodded, genuine interest in his expression. "That's exactly how I feel about development. It's not just about buildings, it's about creating environments that serve communities." "Is that what your company does?" Sophia asked cautiously, not wanting to reveal that she'd learned about him from Melanie. Xavier looked surprised. "You don't know about Norton Developments. Should I?" Sophia asked, feeling her cheeks warm. To her surprise, Xavier laughed, a rich, genuine sound that transformed his serious face. "That's refreshing, actually. Most people I meet these days have already Googled me and formed an opinion." "Well, now I'm curious," Sophia admitted. "It's nothing particularly exciting," he said, though his eyes suggested otherwise. "I started in construction after college, worked my way up, saved everything I could, made some smart investments in sustainable development when no one else was thinking that way. Things took off from there." "That's a modest way of describing becoming a millionaire," Sophia said without thinking. Xavier's eyebrows shot up. "So you did know." "My coworker told me after you left yesterday," Sophia admitted. "I had no idea when we were talking. And now that you know," his question was casual, but Sophia sensed the weight behind it. "Now I'm wondering why someone who could be anywhere is sitting in a cafe with a department store sales associate," she said honestly. Xavier studied her for a moment before answering. Because that sales associate was the first person in weeks who saw me as just a guy who needed help finding a present for his sister, not as a business opportunity or a potential investor or a reputation to manage. He leaned forward slightly. You know how rare that is. Their coffee date extended into dinner at a small Italian restaurant nearby. Sophia found herself captivated not by Xavier's wealth, but by his passion for his work, his dry humor, and the way he listened to her as if everything she said mattered. My sister would like you, Xavier said as they shared a tiramisu. She's always telling me I need to meet someone who'll challenge me. And do I challenge you? Sophia asked, surprised by her own boldness. Xavier's smile was warm. From the moment you steered me away from that gaudy diamond bracelet I was considering and told me it wasn't right for Amelia, even though it was 3 times the price of the compass. As they left the restaurant, Xavier hesitated before saying, I'd like to see you again, Sophia. Maybe dinner this weekend. I'd like that, she replied, feeling both excited and nervous about where this might lead. Over the next few weeks, Sophia discovered that dating Xavier Norton was both simpler and more complicated than she'd imagined. Simpler because, despite his wealth and status, he seemed genuinely content with quiet evenings and simple pleasures. More complicated because his life included elements she'd never encountered before: private dining rooms, drivers waiting discreetly outside restaurants, business associates who recognized him everywhere they went. A month into their relationship, Xavier invited Sophia to attend his sister's belated birthday celebration. It's just a small gathering at her gallery, he explained over the phone, but I'd really like you to meet her. Sophia spent hours deciding what to wear, finally settling on a burgundy wrap dress that flattered her figure without being ostentatious. Still, as Xavier's driver delivered them to the gallery in the Arts District, she felt distinctly out of her element. You look beautiful, Xavier said, squeezing her hand as they approached the entrance. And Amelia will love you, just be yourself. The gallery was stunning, a converted warehouse with soaring ceilings, exposed brick, and dramatic lighting highlighting various contemporary artworks. About 30 people milled about, champagne flutes in hand, engaged in animated conversation. A woman with Xavier's same hazel eyes detached herself from a group and came toward them, smiling broadly. She wore a simple black dress adorned with a familiar-looking antique compass on a chain around her neck. Xav, she exclaimed, embracing her brother before turning curious eyes to Sophia. And you must be the famous Sophia. I've heard so much about you. All good things, I hope, Sophia replied, shaking Amelia's outstretched hand. The best, Amelia assured her, fingering the compass at her neck. Including that you're the one who helped my thoughtful but sometimes clueless brother select this perfect gift. I haven't taken it off since he gave it to me. Xavier rolled his eyes good-naturedly. I wasn't clueless, I was considering options. He was staring at diamond tennis bracelets when I really just wanted something meaningful, Amelia told Sophia with a conspiratorial smile. So thank you for steering him right. As the evening progressed, Sophia found herself genuinely enjoying Amelia's company. The gallery owner was warm, unpretentious, and clearly adored her brother. He's different with you, Amelia said quietly when Xavier was across the room talking to a curator. More relaxed, happier. He makes me happy too, Sophia admitted, surprising herself with the depth of feeling behind those simple words. Later, as they walked along the riverfront near Sophia's apartment, Xavier seemed unusually quiet. Is everything okay? Sophia asked, concerned. If tonight was too much, everything's perfect, Xavier interrupted, stopping to face her. The moonlight reflected off the water, illuminating his serious expression. Amelia loves you, so does everyone else who met you tonight. I liked them too, Sophia said cautiously, sensing there was more to his mood than he was saying. Xavier took both her hands in his. Sophia, there's something I need to tell you, something I should have been more clear about from the beginning. Sophia felt her stomach clench with sudden anxiety. What is it? The company I built, it's not just successful, it's significantly more successful than I've let on. He took a deep breath. The waterfront project we just completed is valued at over $1 billion. And there are others like it. Sophia blinked, trying to process this information. You're not a millionaire, a small smile touched Xavier's lips. Technically, I am, many times over. He watched her face carefully. Does that change things for you? Sophia considered the question seriously. It's a lot to take in, she admitted. But no, it doesn't change how I feel about you, though I am curious why you didn't just tell me. Because people change when they find out, Xavier said simply. They start seeing the money instead of the person. Or they become careful around me as if I'm judging every expense, every choice. He squeezed her hands gently. With you, from that first day in the store, it was just easy, natural. I didn't want that to change. Sophia nodded, understanding dawning. That's why you let me split the bill that time at the cafe. And why I haven't taken you to any of the restaurants I actually own, he added with a sheepish grin. You own restaurants, Sophia laughed in disbelief. What else don't I know? A lot, probably, Xavier admitted. But I'd like the chance to tell you everything. His expression grew serious again. I'm falling in love with you, Sophia, and I needed you to know the whole truth before this goes any further. The sincerity in his eyes made her breath catch. I'm falling in love with you too, she whispered. Money or no money? Their kiss was gentle at first, then deepened with shared emotion. When they finally pulled apart, Sophia felt as if something fundamental had shifted between them. There's one more thing, Xavier said, still holding her close. I've been working on a new project, a series of affordable housing developments with integrated green spaces and community resources. The first one breaks ground next month. That sounds amazing, Sophia said, genuinely impressed. The thing is, Xavier continued, a hint of nervousness in his voice, we haven't finalized the interior designs yet. The team has some concepts, but nothing feels right. He took a deep breath. I've seen your sketchbooks, Sophia, your ideas about creating spaces that improve people's lives. Would you consider coming on as a consultant for the interiors? Sophia stared at him in shock. Are you serious? Completely. This isn't about us, it's about your talent. I would have approached you with this opportunity even if we weren't together. His eyes held her steadily. Say no if you want to. It won't change anything between us, but I think you could bring something special to this project. For a moment, Sophia couldn't speak. Her dream had always been to design spaces that made a difference, to have that opportunity now on such a meaningful project. I'd need to see the plans, she said finally, and understand exactly what you're looking for. Xavier's face broke into a broad smile. Of course, whatever you need. In the following months, Sophia found herself in a whirlwind of new experiences. By day, she collaborated with Xavier's development team, bringing her unique perspective to the affordable housing project. By night, she explored her deepening relationship with Xavier himself, a man who, despite his extraordinary wealth, valued simple connections and genuine emotion. 6 months after they met, Xavier took Sophia back to Harrington's boutique after hours, having arranged with the management for a private visit. What are we doing here? Sophia asked, confused as Xavier led her to the jewelry department where they'd first met. I wanted to come back to where it all began, Xavier said, stopping at the exact counter where Sophia had helped him choose Amelia's compass. The day I walked in here, I was just looking for a gift. I had no idea I was about to meet the woman who would change everything. Sophia smiled at the memory. You looked so lost. I was, Xavier agreed. In more ways than I knew, he took her hand. Sophia, these past months have shown me what really matters in life, not the buildings I construct or the deals I make, but the connections I form, especially with you. With his free hand, he reached into his pocket and produced a small velvet box. Sophia's breath caught as he opened it to reveal a vintage emerald ring surrounded by tiny diamonds. This isn't from Harrington's, Xavier admitted with a smile. It was my grandmother's. She was an artist to a sculptor. She always said that creating beauty was the highest calling. He dropped to one knee, still holding Sophia's hand. I can think of nothing more beautiful than building a life with you. Will you marry me, Sophia Rhodes? Tears filled Sophia's eyes as she nodded. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will. As Xavier slid the ring onto her finger, Sophia marveled at the journey that had brought them here. From a simple request for help choosing a gift to this moment of profound commitment, it seemed both incredible and perfectly right. 2 years later, Sophia stood in the community center of the first completed affordable housing project she'd helped design. Large windows filled the space with natural light, highlighting the comfortable seating areas, children's play spaces, and community garden access she'd incorporated into the plans. On the wall hung a framed photo of Xavier and Sophia at the groundbreaking ceremony, along with an article from the Business Journal praising the innovative approach to community-centered development. Mrs. Norton, a young woman approached, clipboard in hand. "The residents are ready for the tour whenever you are," Sophia smiled, still not entirely used to her married name. "I'll be right there." As she prepared to show the new residents through their homes, she caught sight of Xavier across the room, deep in conversation with the project manager. He looked up, caught her eye, and smiled that same genuine smile that had first drawn her to him. He excused himself and came to join her. "Ready?" he asked, taking her hand. "More than ready," Sophia replied, squeezing his fingers. "These families are about to see their new homes for the first time. Homes you designed," Xavier reminded her proudly. "That we built together," Sophia corrected him. As they walked through the development, watching families react with joy to the thoughtfully designed spaces, Sophia reflected on how differently her life had turned out than she'd expected. The day Xavier Norton had walked into Harrington's boutique looking for his sister's gift, she could never have imagined where that simple interaction would lead. "What are you thinking about?" Xavier asked quietly as they watched a young mother explore the kitchen Sophia had specifically designed to be accessible and family-friendly. "Just how one ordinary day at work changed everything," Sophia replied, "and how grateful I am that you were terrible at choosing gifts on your own." Xavier laughed, the sound still warming her heart after all this time. "Best failure of my life," he agreed, leaning down to kiss her softly. "It led me to you." That evening, as they returned to the waterfront home they now shared, Xavier handed Sophia a small package wrapped in silver paper. "What's this?" she asked, surprised. "Open it," he urged. Inside, she found a delicate silver compass, similar to the one he'd given Amelia but smaller, more feminine. Turning it over, she read the inscription, "To Sophia, who helped me find my true direction. Love always, Xav." "It's perfect," she whispered, emotion making her voice catch. "Like the woman who wears it," Xavier replied, helping her fasten it around her neck. As the compass settled against her skin, Sophia thought about direction and destiny, about chance encounters and life-changing decisions. How fortunate that she'd been working that day, that Xavier had been looking for that perfect gift, that they'd both been open to the possibility of something remarkable. Some might call it luck, but as Xavier's arms wrapped around her, Sophia preferred to think of it as finding their true north.